Hello team, today's challenge is Truncate the Text, where we're given a string of text, and depending on how many characters there are, we're either going to cut a bunch off and follow it up with ... or we're just going to return it cleanly, okay? This is pretty quick, so we can do that. It's going to be text.length. We're going to test for the length and see if it's greater than 20 characters, and if it is, we'll do one thing, otherwise we will do another. What's that first thing? Well, it's going to be text.slice. We're going to slice from the first character, which is 0, up to but not including the 17th index. Okay, these two numbers are indexes, not length. Okay, so from the 0 index up to but not including the 17th index, and then right behind it we append ... Okay. So that's if it is greater than 20. If it is less than or equal to, we just return text. And that's it, okay? That's all we need to get this done today. There are a couple things that I want to play with though, okay? And the first is what's known as levels of abstraction, okay? Levels of abstraction are when we have some text, right? If we're reading through this line here is very busy compared to this line, which suggests to me that this line here could actually be its own thing. We could abstract it away, making it easier to read the code. Okay, this is a clean code technique. So we go function, let's call it truncate like this. We're going to pass in that text. We are going to return all of this, okay? And then down here, I'm going to copy this, comment it out, paste it down, and change all this to be truncate text, okay? And it should still work. But now when we're reading truncate text, we can see that, oh yeah, if it's greater than 20, then we truncate it. Otherwise, we just return the text. It's easier to read, okay? Cleaner code. That's why we do this. Now, there is a power to build out your own function here. For instance, 17, kind of hard-coded. The suffix, kind of hard-coded. So let's go and add length, just like this, and suffix, okay? Just like this. We change this one to length, this one to suffix. We can even do better. So right here, we could actually set that as a default to ... just like this, and this one to a default of, let's say, 20, okay? So we're sending some default arguments in here. And now down here, this needs to be something else, right? It needs to be 17, but the ellipses are okay, okay? And we do this. Brilliant. It still works, right? It still works great. So we can really clean up the code, making it easier to read, making it easier to hopefully use, okay? Another option that we could have done, we could take all of this, this first truncate function, and we can go capital S string. If you know where I'm going, stay with me, okay? A lot of people feel very passionate about this. I do too, but there's good reason to teach this. So here we go. Prototype, truncate, just like this, equals this function. Function doesn't need a name anymore. We get everything except text. Text goes away as an argument because we get this, okay? And what this means is that right here, I can copy this again, bring it down, and instead of truncate text, we just go text.truncate. Get rid of this first argument, everything else stays the same, and it works, okay? Now, a lot of people feel very passionately about polluting the prototype, okay? Polluting the prototype is when we take a built-in prototype and we add on to it. The reason that it's such a problem is because if whatever you're building becomes very popular, it might be locked in. And what I mean by that is this example here. So right here, we had something called flatten, okay? We wanted to build out a function called flatten that smushed or collapsed an array, right? And we could pass in arguments for how deep we should flatten that array. The problem is that years and years ago, we had a library called MooTools. MooTools was very popular. I think it was second only to jQuery, right? Just super, super popular. And there are still websites out there that use MooTools. And that's a problem because they actually did this. They went string.prototype.flatten and they created the function to flatten the array. Okay, they did the thing. Now, TC39, the body that takes care of and builds JavaScript. Okay, they decide what goes into JavaScript. They wanted to do flatten, and all of a sudden it broke every website that was using MooTools. At that time, MooTools was old enough that it wasn't going to see an update. Probably not. Okay, this was almost 10 years ago. So it probably wasn't going to see one, and they went around and around. Somebody at some point suggested smush as a joke, which means that it became known as hashtag Smushgate. You can actually go and look up Smushgate, and it will give you articles around this thing. But they finally settled on flat, which not quite the verb that we wanted, but a good enough verb. So that's why we have flat and not flatten, right? And that's why we shouldn't use truncate, okay? At least not truncate by itself. Instead, anytime you're going to do something like this where you add on to the prototype, my very strong recommendation is don't, right? The function is probably good enough, right? We can get away with that. But if you want this chaining setup here, okay, then at the very least, you should add something in front of this and an underscore, okay? Which means that now you've namespaced it, because as far as I know, TC39 is not going to create methods that have an underscore in them. Or at the very least, maybe they do. I might be wrong. Hit me up in those comments if I am. But at the very least, we can take this and change it to be namespace to something they never use, like FCC for FreeCodeCamp. FreeCodeCamp, sorry. My mouth doesn't want to work. Or if you had a personal project, you could use your initials, right? Use something that is unique to you and your project. And by doing that, you ensure that there is very, very little chance that future JavaScript is going to interfere with your current JavaScript, okay? So that's it for today. That's 3 short solutions. If you want to learn more about Smushgate, that's how you find that. And you'll find articles on Google's blog, right? Some fun stuff around that basically go through the history of how we went from flatten to flat in JavaScript, and some stuff around MooTools and stuff. But for today, we started out by slicing it, and then we abstracted that away to make it a little bit easier to read. And then we played around with adding to the prototype chain, okay? Dangerous stuff adding to the prototype chain, so always, always, always namespace anything that you do that with, okay? That's it. Did you like one of these? Did you hate one? Did you find a different solution? Hit me up in those comments. I definitely love seeing those. Otherwise, today, this has been Truncate the Text, and I will see you tomorrow.